Hi everybody, this is Richard here from the resource team at Adult Day Services with another virtual class for you. Today we're going to talk about the topic of loneliness. Thought this might be an appropriate topic seeing as we are going through a global pandemic right now. Lots of us have been home for a long time. We're not connecting or seeing the people that are close to us as much as we're used to, and it has gone on for a long time. So I think there's a good chance that a lot of us are feeling a little more lonely than we did before. So this class is about loneliness. Feeling lonely. All of us can get lonely at one point or another. So loneliness is a normal human emotion, right? So humans, we are social animals. We desire and need contact and connection with other people. So when any of us are not getting as much connection as we would like or feel that we need, loneliness is the result. So I think everybody's going to experience loneliness at some point or another. Loneliness can be brought about by several things. So some examples of this are moving to a new place, right? So if you're moving to a new place, if you live with a care provider, maybe you're moving in with new care providers. So you might not know if you're connected with them. You're going to feel lonely. Moving to a new place, if it's in a new city, you might not know anybody, or even just a new neighborhood, right? So you're moving away from a place where maybe you knew your neighbors, you had friends, you knew people in the community, and now you're basically starting over, right? So you're going to feel lonely without having that type of connection. Losing someone. So if someone important in your life, if they pass away or even just move far away, right? So that's a connection that's being lost, someone that was important to you. And that loss can definitely lead to loneliness. Breaking up with a friend or partner, right? So when a serious relationship breaks up, it can feel a lot like you are losing someone, right? And a part of your life is changing, and that connection is being lost. So feelings of loneliness after this type of breakup are definitely common. Changing programs. So you might, if you are starting at a new program, you're kind of starting over, right? You might have had a bunch of friends and relationships set up at your old program, but the new program, you're starting over, right? So you're going in, you don't really know people. So now you might feel lonely, right? Because you haven't established friendships yet or relationships with the staff and things like that, right? So it's normal to feel lonely when changing programs. Everyday situations can also bring about loneliness, right? So, for example, if you ride the bus every day with someone, and one day that person is sick or they're on holidays for a week, all of a sudden you're riding the bus alone, right? And you're sitting by yourself, and you might feel a little lonely, like you don't have a connection. Little things like that, right? It might be the same thing if at program, you have a couple friends that you always have lunch with, and they're away. So all of a sudden you don't have anyone to have your lunch with, and you're going to feel a little lonely with those sort of things. Feelings that come with loneliness. All right, so there are some common feelings that go with loneliness. Feeling sad. This is probably the most common. Loneliness and sadness are very much tied together. Feeling frustrated, right? So when you're feeling lonely, you might very much feel frustrated about not being connected with people. And being frustrated means you might get upset over little things that wouldn't normally frustrate you are all of a sudden frustrating you. You might feel scared, right? So if you're not used to feeling lonely, this is a new feeling for you, and it's not a good feeling. And you might be asking yourself, will this feeling ever go away? And you might be scared that it might not. Confused. You might be wondering why you're feeling so down all the time. What is exactly going on? Anxiety. All right, so loneliness might lead to you feeling anxious. Ultimately, depression, right? So if you're feeling lonely for a long time, loneliness and sadness are very much tied together and can lead to depression. Stress. Yeah, stress can also be a result of this. When you're feeling lonely, you know you're not getting connected, you're feeling down, you're not as motivated to do the things that you need to do, and then you might get stressed because you're not doing the things that you know you need to do and the things that you like to do. So stress is also a common experience with loneliness. And ultimately low self-esteem, right? As we said, human beings, we are social animals. So which means that we desire the connection, the social connection with other human beings, right? So when we're feeling lonely, we feel that we are not getting that connection that we need. And we might feel that we're worthless, that we're not worthy of, the friendship and the relationships and the connections with other people. So ultimately that will lead us to low self-esteem. Everyone's experience with loneliness will look different. Okay, so we just went through a bunch of feelings there. Not everybody who is experiencing loneliness is going to have all of those feelings that go with it. They're going to have some and not others. And so some people, they're happy to be alone most of the time, whereas others need a lot more interactions. So this is tied to something called introversion and extroversion. If you're an introverted person, you're typically a little happier when you're alone, right? You don't need as much connection with other people. You're fine being alone. If you're an extrovert, you're kind of the social animal. You enjoy being with other people and you need to be with other people, right? So on the extremes of that. So for example, someone who is introverted is a little better being alone. Someone who's an extrovert would have trouble being alone. So for example, during this pandemic, right, your introverts, this might have been their time to shine, right? There's a lot of, you're recommended to stay home and not have a lot of contact with people. So for your introverts, this wouldn't have been too big of an issue, or less of an issue, I should say, but your extroverts would have had a real hard time with this. The people that are always used to being around people and have a large group of friends and enjoy large social gatherings and stuff like that. This would have been a really hard time for them. And I think this ties into loneliness as well, right? So the feelings of loneliness, if you're not getting as much connection as you need, will come for people, more so for the extroverts, I think. All right, so if you're feeling lonely, there are things you can do to help with loneliness. It's not a lost cause. Remember, it will not last forever. So as I said, most of us are going to experience loneliness to some degree in our lifetimes at different times, right? But most of us will get out of it, right? You're going to have brief periods where you're feeling lonely, but you're going to have points in your life where you're feeling connected to others as well, right? So it's not going to last forever. Be mindful of lonely thoughts. So what happens when you get lonely? You're not feeling connected to other people. You often will get thoughts in your head saying things like, well, no one wants to be friends with me because I'm worthless. I'm not a good person. I'm not worthy of having friends, right? And what happens when you have those kind of thoughts is it affects the day. It affects the way that you interact with people, right? So if someone asks how your day's going and you're feeling like no one would be interested in your day, you would just say, I'm fine, right? And then that would be the end of the conversation. That person might move on. But if you're feeling a little better, you might tell them a little bit about your day. You might have a longer conversation, right? You might develop a better relationship, right? So basically the thing here is that our thoughts affect our actions, which affect our days. So the more positive our thoughts can be, the more positive our interactions are going to be, and the more positive things are going to be. So feeling lonely and having these kind of thoughts will keep us in a lonely state and not help us to get out of it. Find ways to connect, even if it's hard. So this is important, like the cure for loneliness is probably ultimately interacting with other people and having connections with other people. So sometimes it's hard to connect with people. I know right now a lot of people are home and we're advised not to go and interact with people, but there is ways to do it, right? You can do the classic phone call, phone up people in your network. Even if you're home, join some of the social media ways, right? If you want to join some of the group chats that are offered at some of the programs, it's a good way of seeing your old friends from program, the staff that you might miss, those kind of things. So make the effort to make connections with people. Yeah, whether it's through the social media, phone calls, texts. There's many ways to connect with people right now, so do it. Reach out to people. All right. So we all have social networks, so use your social network. Reach out to the people in your life, whether those people, that could be staff, that could be friends, family, even a therapist, right? So if you have a therapist as part of your support network, use that person, right? So there are people that are specifically trained on how to help you with negative feelings such as loneliness, and they would be specifically trained on how to help you get out of those lonely thoughts and to get into a more positive state of being. Keep busy. This is important, I think. Like I think being inactive and not doing much when you're feeling lonely will just give you a lot of time for your brain to work and just produce more negative, lonely thoughts, and it's going to keep you in that stage, right? But if you keep busy, you find activities that are going to get you moving. Movement is a good thing, and it'll help you get out of that kind of thought, right? So if you have activities, you can get your mind thinking of other things, and it will ultimately help you. All right, so what else can you do? Come to program. All right, so some of us are able to come to program. I think right now we're at 50% capacity, so that means about half of you guys out there are able to come to program. If you are one of the lucky ones that can come, please come, right? So if you're feeling lonely, forcing yourself to get out in the world and seeing people is a good thing. So please come to program if you can. Use your supports. Don't cancel your shifts. All right. So for those of you guys that have like respite workers and things like that, when you're feeling lonely and not feeling like you're not worthy of connecting with people, you might be tempted to cancel your respite shifts. Don't do it. Okay. These are people that are out there to support you, and ultimately interaction is a good thing. So you use these supports, right? And these respite shifts and things. They might help you to get out to do some activities, get out in the world and get moving and things. So please use your shifts. Volunteer. So this is another thing that you can do. I know with a lot of things being shut down, there's a lot less volunteer opportunities out there, but we are starting to open up and volunteering is going to come back. So volunteering is a good thing. Gets you out there, gets you meeting some new people, possibly. And one nice thing about volunteering is it gives you a sense of worth. It feels that you're accomplishing and helping other people. And when you're helping other people, it helps make you feel better about yourself. It makes you feel connected, and it makes you feel like you have a place. So if you can do that, it will really help your self-esteem, and you're going to feel less lonely if you can do that. Another thing, take care of yourself. So this is important for for a variety of reasons, but mental health especially as well, right? So if you take care of yourself, if your body's functioning properly, it's going to help, and it's going to help you feel better, and negative thoughts such as loneliness are going to have less effect on you. So how can you take care of yourself? Well, watch your hygiene, right? Even if you don't feel like it, have that shower in the morning, comb your hair, put on clean clothes, right? So you're feeling better. When you're looking better, you're feeling better, right? I know if you're just kind of lounging around all day in dirty sweats for a week, right? You're gonna feel a little bad about yourself, and it's not gonna help with your feelings of loneliness and your self-worth. Get proper sleep. Our body functions better when we get the right amount of sleep. We feel better. Diet, same thing, right? If we eat garbage, our body feels like garbage, right? So if you're eating healthy, your body's working better, it's feeling better, it's going to help you feel better mentally as well. Avoid drugs and alcohol. While these things might help you feel better in the moment if you're feeling a little down, ultimately they're going to make you feel worse, and they're not going to really help you with your core feelings of loneliness. Try new things, right? So like I was saying, activity is a good thing, maybe start taking some bike rides, or, if you're a little more creative, maybe you want to do some painting. Maybe you just like try some karaoke in your apartment or something alone, right? So try new things. You might find something you enjoy, something that'll give you some purpose, and it'll help keep you busy and keep your mind off of things. All right, so this is a quick diagram just kind of showing the kind of spiral of how things go with loneliness, right? So you might be thinking, my mental health has made me feel lonely, which would lead to the other thought that feeling lonely has damaged my mental health. So because I feel lonely, my mental health is bad. Boom, leading to because my mental health is bad, it's made me feel lonely. And feeling lonely has damaged my mental health, which has made my mental health bad. So it's just a cycle that'll just go on and on and on, and it'll kind of perpetuate itself and just keep going. Okay, so it's important to break out of this cycle. So be aware when you're having these kind of thoughts, and that you need to stop them, and you need to try and get out of this cycle. That's about all I have to say, but I'll just do a quick review of what we talked about today. So first point I have is feelings of loneliness are normal. Every human being is going to feel lonely at some point in their life. We're social animals. We're designed to connect to others. So feelings of loneliness are normal when we feel we're not connecting to others. Even though they're a normal thing, everybody gets it. There are things you can do to help when you are feeling lonely. So what can you do? Connect with people. Sounds like an easy solution, but that's what you need to do. You need to find ways to connect with people. You need to, whether it's online, whether it's through a phone call, whatever means it is, connect with people as much as you can. Do activities that will keep you busy and feeling better, all right? So when you're feeling down and lonely and possibly depressed, movement is important. Movement and keeping yourself busy is important. If all you do is sit at home and watch Netflix for 8 hours and you're feeling lonely and down, it's not going to help you. It's going to make things worse, right? So actually getting out and doing some kind of activities, whether it's like a walk or a bike ride or painting or creative writing or whatever it is, right? Something. So doing activities is good. It gets your mind off of things and you'll ultimately feel better for it. Try and break the negative thought cycle, right? So we were talking about how my mental health is bad because I'm lonely, which leads me to feel lonely, which makes it worse, right? It just keeps going on and on and on. We also talked about, some of the negative thoughts that come when you're feeling lonely about, I'm worthless, I'm not worthy of having friends, things like that. But those things will affect your interactions with people, which will cause you to even less likely to have friends. So if you understand what those negative thoughts are and you understand what they're doing, you can stop them hopefully and have better interactions with people and make some friends and break out of the loneliness cycle, hopefully. Use your supports, as we said, if you're able to come to program, come to program. If you're able to join a group chat, join the group chat. You have a respite worker coming, use that respite worker. A friend offers to go for a walk with you, go on that walk. Do the things that are out there. We all have, social networks, use them, right? Remember, you are never alone, right? So if any of you guys are feeling lonely out there, reach out to us at program here. We're always willing to help, or someone else in your social network that can help you out. All right, that's all I have for today. I thank everybody for listening. I hope it was useful for everybody, and we will talk again soon. Bye for now. Take care, everybody.